Hi everyone, I'm Bee, and welcome back to Read and Roam, the channel where we learn about text and how it fits into our world. We've done a great job with our stories so far. We've brainstormed, planned, drafted, and even revised our stories to make the setting come alive. Today, we'll continue revising, but this time we'll focus on characters. Let's get started. Last time we added sensory details to bring our settings to life, and today we'll focus on bringing our characters to life. A while ago, we learned about a character's outer and inner world. What do you remember? Let's start by recapping the outer world. A character's outer world is what we can see or notice about them from the outside, like what they look like and what they do. Here's an example. Matt's bright green eyes sparkled as he helped his little sister tie her shoelaces. The description of Matt's bright green eyes shows us what he looks like, while the action of helping his sister shows us that he's kind. These work together to help us imagine Matt. Now, let's recap the inner world. A character's inner world refers to what happens on the inside, like what a character thinks, how they feel, and what they're like deep down. Check out this example. Matt felt happy helping his sister. I'm glad she asked for help, he thought. Matt's happy feelings and positive thoughts about his sister show us that he's kind, which also matches his actions from earlier. And did you notice how it didn't say anywhere, Matt is kind? Instead, we figured it out by looking at the clues in the text. When writers show what a character is like, instead of just telling us, the story is more interesting and easier to follow. It helps readers understand who the character really is and why they act the way they do. Now, we're ready to revise my story. Let's work together to bring my main character, Laura, to life. Let's start with the beginning where I introduced Laura. There was a scientist named Laura. She lived in a futuristic city with towering buildings stretching into the sky, glowing neon lights, and the constant hum of cars flying overhead. Let's stop reading for a moment. We described the futuristic setting well here, but what about Laura? We don't know what she's like. We only know she's a scientist, which makes it pretty tricky to imagine her. So, let's add some details about her external traits. All right, there was a scientist named Laura who had curly blonde hair and big glasses. That's better. Those details help us picture what she looks like. Let's keep reading to see what else we can revise. One day, she was working in her lab. She wanted to build a robot that could help clean up the city's trash and pollution. Laura was excited because she was going to show her invention to the mayor at a big event tomorrow. We already wrote that Laura felt excited here, which is part of her inner world. So to help show just how excited she is, we could add something about what she's thinking, like, I can't wait, Laura thought. We've done a great job revising the beginning. That's where we usually include the most detail about the main character because it's where we first introduce them. But to make sure the whole story is interesting and makes sense, we should also revise the middle and end. Let's start reading the middle to find where we can add more detail. The next day, Laura finished her robot and went to the event. She walked on stage and greeted the mayor in front of a big crowd. Let's pause for a second. This is a perfect spot to add detail about Laura because something important is happening. Going on stage is a big moment for her, so it's a great opportunity to show her thoughts and feelings. So what could Laura be thinking and feeling? Look at the sentences I've prepared, then fill in the blanks with your own ideas. Pause the video now. Let's check. You might have written something like, Laura felt nervous as she walked on stage and greeted the mayor in front of a big crowd. I hope everything goes smoothly, she thought. Don't worry if yours is slightly different. What matters is that you've shown how Laura's feeling and thinking and connected that to what's happening to help us understand her better. There's lots more I could revise in the middle, but let's skip to the end to see if we can show more about what Laura is like there. Laura followed the robot to a tall tower where she found it running around in circles. When she finally cornered it, she turned it off. This is a great spot to add more details about Laura because she's taking action to solve the conflict. When a character finally faces the problem, it's an important moment because how they handle it shows us a lot about what they're like. So for this part, I'm going to add details about Laura being clever, not by saying it directly, but by showing it through her thoughts and actions. I'll cross this part out and write, she crouched behind a pillar and quickly came up with a plan. Now, let's add what she's thinking to show her cleverness. Okay, I'll give you two options and you decide which works best. If I throw some trash in that direction, it'll chase after it, she thought. Or, Laura was clever and thought about what to do next. Pause the video and choose the sentence that best shows, not tells, that Laura is clever. Let's check. The first one is the best option because it shows Laura's cleverness through her thoughts. We see her smart plan come together in her mind. The second one tells us Laura is clever, but it doesn't show us why. It's not as interesting and makes less sense because readers don't get the information they need to understand what actually makes Laura clever. Now that we've revised my story and added lots of interesting details about Laura, you're ready to work on your story. In your lesson materials, you'll add details about your main character's inner and outer world. You can also do the same with other characters in your story. But remember, your main character is the most important, so start there. And here's something else to keep in mind. Characters can change throughout a story. Maybe a character who starts off selfish becomes kind later on, or maybe they learn an important lesson by the end. I'll keep revising my draft while you work on yours. Next time, we'll add dialogue to bring our characters to life even more. See you next time, and remember, where there are words, there's a world to explore.
Hey, hey.